I think we are live. Can you see me? All right, so today I'm going to be making more signs. This is the profile that I've used on prior signs, so I want to make them this size, but I don't want to use this particular blank because it's got a hole in it. So I was going to make them out of this guy, but again, this guy has holes in them, and a fair number, so I'd have to cut it all up, and I was thinking to just use this center section, but then I realized that I have some other wood that I won't have to cut up as much. So I'm going to save this for some other project over there. And got a couple of these scrap pieces over here that will work. I'll have to cut this up as well. He's got some holes down here, so I'll just cut him before that. Got some holes up here, some staple holes, but those won't be very prevalent once we get down to, and I'll probably use this as the back, use this as the front, because it looks like this is the only big blemish on this side. And I'll plane them so that they're not so dirty and stuff. But so anyway, that's what I'm gonna cut them from. And I'm going to, oh, hey, Kevin, thanks for joining us. Been a while. Yeah, I know it probably feels like it's been a while since I was live. It's only been a week. So for a while there, I was going live, it seemed like every day, every other day. But yeah, slowing it down, taking a little breather here and there. So probably won't be as live as frequently as I was, but you know, maybe more than weekly. We'll see. But anyway, also one other change for today. I'm going to try to record on a second camera. I don't have this camera set up on live stream, so you guys won't be able to see this view, but I'm hoping that it can make a good capture some good footage that I can use in long form videos going forward. So I'll probably look a little weird with this on. I already look a little weird. I don't know if it'll be more weird, less weird, same weird, whatever. But anyway, I'll get this recording, throw it on my head, and see if it works how it's supposed to. Let's see. All right, looks like it's recording. Throw it on. I hope that it is angled where it can actually capture something of value, but I tried this once before and it didn't really work that great. So we'll see. All right. So coming along here. All right. So I need to cut these guys down to the appropriate size. So I'm going to do 1 foot. So I will measure those, then cut them on the miter saw, I think. So I think this guy is already 1 foot. Yep. So I'll just use that. I want to get rid of this end, so I'll do it from over here. And find a pencil. Go. Then on this one, yeah, it looks pretty good all the way through. So I'll just do from that end. Okay. And then we'll get to cutting over here at the miter saw. Let me position something that you'll be able to see as I'm making my cut. I've modified the miter saw stand a little bit. So I know I've been talking about wanting to modify it a lot and just rebuild the whole thing, but basically I flipped this around. So it's now facing the opposite direction. And I've maximized the space between the bed of the miter saw and this little support over here. So that way when I've got long stuff, I've got better support over there. Used to be just had the saw in the middle of the station, and so there wasn't as much support, but we'll see if it really helps all that much. I don't know if it will, but all right, let's angle you down there so you can see the cut as it happens. Get some protective equipment here with for my eyes and my ears. And all right, got to plug things in. And vacuum and miter saw. All right, you got those pieces cut. So now let's take you to the table saw. And I will rip those to the appropriate width, which means got to take off the crosscut sled. And plug in the table saw with cyclone separator and shop vac. All right. I'll use this guy to set my height. Actually, I should use the actual piece I'm cutting to set the height. Yeah. There we go. And I'm going to use this to set the width. You know what? My fence is out of square. Can you see that it's tighter here than over here? And that is dangerous because as the piece works through, it gets cut, but then it's pinching it down here. That's not good. It's okay if your fence goes out a little bit, just a fraction, so that there's more room, but not good if it goes the direction that I have mine right now. So before I cut anything on that, I am going to adjust this thing. So let me do this. Let's see. I have to remind myself how to adjust it. And let's see. I need an Allen wrench. And let's see. The one I need is typically over here. Let's see if this is the right one. It is. All right. So all right, let's just see how well that did. Yeah, we're still. I want to get a tad more. Not very scientific here, but mostly just want it to be close enough. There we go. All right, it's good enough for now. And then since I've adjusted that, now I need to adjust my the tape as well, or the indicator on the tape, because that's no longer going to be in the exact same place as it was before. So, all right, I think we're mostly ready to go on that. So I'll get my push stick ready and get this a little closer. And there we go. And all right. All right. So now we've got boards of the appropriate width. So on to planing next, I think. So let me get you set up over here. So you can see the planer. Need to not step on the cord. That could make things better for me. All right. So I just want to clean these sides up so they're nice and uniform, looking pretty. And all right, let's try it. All right, that should work. So let me just clean up my mess because that's what responsible people do. Try not to cover up the camera as I clean. Find my broom. And typically I like to just go and put the wood shreds out onto the garden. So that is what I will do now. Use those as mulch. And it back. All right. So I can put the planer away. Really need to make a stand for that. And let me just clean up the rest of my mess here. Just using my Syntec hose system. All right, so on to our next step, which is going to need this. Actually, no, it doesn't need that. I need to move. There we go. See if I can position this properly. Move the router table over here. And then move you guys over the router table. All right. And I can remove my PPE for the moment. All right. And let me see if I need to adjust this a little bit, it seems. All right. So now I need to mark out their names. And that I'm going to use some measuring tools, some rulers, combination square, and let's see, pencil. All right. So mark ½ inch border. And okay. And mark my halfway point on both. I think this one's a little bit more than 1 foot, but whatever. All right, and first name is Jackson with an X. Right. And then do out. All right. So let's see if that's too much space. I don't think so. All right. And write in our letters. Okay. Got an O right here. And an N. And let's make our O as easy as possible. Making it as straight as possible. Okay. And I think we're done with Jackson. All right. And then we're on to Blakely. It's going to be a little bit more difficult. Blakely. So 7 Elak. So K is our middle letter. There. All right, and all right, so about that much space. We'll call it Blakely. So we've got an A. And then we've got an L. And then we've got a B. Okay. E. Like that. Okay. And then L. A. Now we need an E. Like another L. And a Y. Middle of the E. The Y. Just right there. And the ends of the E. Like, no, that's not an E. That's an L. Need my eraser. And then this is the E. Right here. And darken that part. Okay, there we go. likely, I'm going to make this L a little darker, a little easier to see. Okay. That one is ready to go. So we will reposition everything again. And all right, let's see. I'm gonna need my double stick tape. And some more. All right, and your Jackson workbench. That off to the side, and I will get the router. This is an old Bosch 1604, like that. And I'm using a V-shaped router bit. And this router is missing a handle. So one of these days I'll make a new one, but I haven't yet. So we'll get there someday. Hey, Randy Rich, thanks for joining us. You're just having a ball, making some signs. Again. And I'll get my protective wear on. And we'll go to town here in a second. Let me reposition this for you so that hopefully you can see a little better. And hopefully that doesn't cause me any issues while I'm trying to work on this. Let me see if, well, it might. We'll see. All right. So my O is not that great. I did pretty well on the rest of it though. So now I'm going to clean off the rest of the pencil marks with my random orbital sander. I'm actually going to get a new piece of sandpaper on there. And I will hook them up to my vacuum system. And turn on the vacuum and the sander. And actually, you know what? I'm going to pull him off of the tape and sand the edges, which I haven't been doing. I noticed. So on this one, see that one, neither of those look too bad, but I just cut one of them. So better not look bad. It's a new cut, but I'm going to sand the edges here. All right, should work. And actually, right in there, I want to sand it down. That's good. All right, and vacuum them off again. And then on to the most fun part. Those of you who know who's coming, for those of you who know what's coming, anyway, not sure if I said that right the first time, but we like to introduce some fire, because fire is fun. So I've just got a little torch, little propane. Now we're talking. Oh, interesting. We got some yellowish marks there. I'm not sure what that is. Is that sap or? That is weird. You guys see that? Little yellow spots popping up everywhere. That is different. Haven't seen that on the other ones. You see all those yellowings? Huh. Oh, wow. Looks like I'm a little behind on the chat here. So, okay, we got Bailey, we got LJ, Rainy Ridge. Let's see. And thanks for joining us, everybody. And awesome. So we're expecting a video from Rainy this week. Excellent. All right, I wonder what that is. I wonder if I don't really like the yellowing. Is it coming through on camera? Hey, Johnny. Good to see you. Anyone know what those yellow dots are from? I didn't notice anything about them until I torched it, and then they came out in full force. So here's the backside. I'm not seeing anything that would indicate there'd be yellowing. Will a light sand take it out? Maybe. Pine tar? Yeah, that could be. Let me just use the eraser. Let's see. So it seems like it mostly got rid of the yellowing on the surface, but there's also yellowing on the edge of the letters. I don't know if you can see right in there. I can try to sand that a little bit. It's not getting in there very well. Let me see. Let's see. I just picked up some little hand pads. Might be able to sand with those. These were on special at Harbor Freight. I think they're still on special, actually. If you have the coupon. Maybe it was a Inside Track Club. I don't know. So let's see if they're any good. See, this is the very fine. Let me actually switch to the medium. There it is. I think that's helping. Probably good to sand these out anyway. All right, and vacuum those out. Let's see. Yeah, it's scrape that up a bit when. All right. All right. Well, that's probably all right. A little weird on the dots, but you know, it'll be fine, right? All right, let me move this stuff out of the way, and we'll move on to Blakely and get her sign taped down. Lucky I didn't have to free that from the backing. All right. All right, here we go. All right, $900 for a walnut slab. That sounds pricey to me. Yeah, Randy Rich, you don't buy things that pricey. Yeah, neither do I. I'm cheap. Usually working with small stuff. Yeah. Yeah, never look at the slab prices. Walnut runs $6 a board foot. Yeah. Access to all the walnut scrap wood you want for free. Sweet. Usually look at maple and cherry. So nice. All right. Let's get you as close a look here as we can. And again, hopefully it doesn't interfere too much with what I'm trying to do. All right. right. But it did pretty well, other than pretty squiggly on the B over here. All right, let's get those marks off of it. Those extra pencil marks. All right. And vacuum it off. And let's burn it. All right. Oh, that looks pretty good. I'm not seeing any yellowing marks yet, even though, well, this might have been from a different board. Might have been the same. I don't know. And since these are going to the same household, I'm going to sand this one a little bit as well so that it's got a similar look. Okay. And I'm going to sand out some of those letters as well, even though actually that K looks like it could use a little bit. All right. And a little more vacuuming. And on to the next. So I can put the router away. And put the sander away. Oh, just had a Band-Aid fall down from I don't know where, but hope this is not a sign of things to come. That might be a little concerning. So, all right, let me get my router table out. From down there. We'll put it on the other router table. And we'll put you guys up on workbench if we can fit you. See if that's that a good view? Maybe. Let's see. All right. And we'll hook up the vacuum to a little makeshift dust port here. There we go. And let's see, I think it's in the same position as it was before, which could be good and maybe not. Let me find, there's my ruler. I think I want to I've got a bearing on here, so the fence isn't really that necessary. So I'm just gonna scoot it back a little bit, more just for a little bit more control. So, and let's see. LJ asking if my speed is set to low. I'm not sure. Consigned, can't cut straight to save your life. Set the router to its lowest setting. Oh, yeah, I don't know if, let me check to see what I had the router set at here. I don't know if it is a variable speed. Let's see. An old router. And yeah, I don't, it's got an on-off switch. And otherwise, I don't see any variable speed control. So I don't think it has a variable speed. But yeah, it's a little bit old. but it does the job. Maybe you weren't even asking about the router, but what's the rated speed? Let me see. Bring it back over here. Looks like 25,000 RPM. So you were asking about that router? Okay. Not this router that I'm about to use, right? The router that I was just sharing the speed information on. So, okay. All right. So let me turn on the vacuum and then turn on the router. And let's get to chamfering. I've actually found that it works better if I plug the router in before trying to use it. So let me try plugging it in first. And then I'll turn on the vacuum and the router. All right. Get everything turned off and unplugged. And put away. Oh, maybe I should disconnect the vacuum hose from the dust port before I try putting that away. A little bit easier. And I think now I'll see you guys on there for what I hope is a pretty good view of the next stage. I guess I can put the torch away, huh? Should be done with the fire. All right. And I'm taking off my my protective equipment now. All right, so got Jackson. You know, it looks like they got a little scuffed up on the router table there. So I'm going to do a little bit more sanding. And vacuuming. All right. Actually get you even closer to the action here. All right. More shellac. Gray shellac, that is. This can is pretty much empty. So it's a good thing that I got another can. All right. So we'll let those guys dry. I'll catch up on the chat here. Let's see. Okay. You drop it to 10 or 15,000 RPM, it'd be easier. So obviously a different router, since I can't drop the non-variable speed router. But I do have other routers that I could use for it. So that's a possibility. Now that I've done, I hope, all of the names. Hey, Matthew, good to see you. The one for cutting signs, yeah. When it started, I'm not sure exactly what you're asking, Matthew, but we started a while ago. Let's see. Yeah, about an hour ago. Yeah, I'm showing 81 minutes ago now. Not sure how long ago you asked the question, but Raja was live. Okay, how did that go? Use a paddle to push the signs through. Good. Definitely holds the hose securely. Yeah. Yep. And for live tonight, I was playing fresh caught salmon. Looking at it before seeing the message on Instagram that you sent on. Okay. But great. Thank you, Rainy. Appreciate it. Rainy Ridge. See, still got a little bit of wetness there. Not quite dry enough to apply our next coat of shellac. I see the not quite dry. But getting close. So, in the meantime, I will tell you, I'm still working on this bench that haven't done anything new on it since the last live. But, you know, it's just the bench that I made out of a log for fire pit seating. So, took the most of the top off. I need to go a little bit lower. So I need to probably raise this up, just put another little piece of plywood on both sides here, raise it up so I have enough length to get that router bit low enough to remove this. The other thing I could do is, you know, seat the router bit in the collet so that it's got a little bit more length, but I don't want to really try that. Then once I get that completed, once I finish that, I actually want to flip it over onto its top, and then use the router sled to level the legs. 3 of them are pretty good, but one of them is not. And so that one over there, I don't know if you can see if it's off the plywood there. So I've got a, you know, maybe 3/4 of an inch to remove off of the other 3 so that they'll all sit nice and neat. And then this guy had a bunch of sap coming out of him on that knot, and then also on this knot. And so once I get all of the leveling done, I'm going to put it in the homemade kiln that is currently still has some willow wood in it. The willow is mostly dry. I just need to figure out what I want to do with it next. And so it has not been moved because I'm not sure where I want to put it next. So, all right, that should be dry enough for another coat. So we will go with another coat of shellac. And is going to sit in the grass. It'll be on a gravel area by the fire pit. And once I get this bench done, I've got another bench that I want to do. There are actually 4 benches. I probably should do all 4. And while we're waiting for that to dry, why don't I take you out and show you what I'm talking about and plug into some auxiliary power here. Just batteries. So we will head out the back door to the fit that has a fair amount of fuel that I need to burn. So this is one of the stumps that I pulled from the willow tree when I cut that down. This one as well. I leveled those off with the router sled. This is one of the 4 benches. I need to make some changes to secure the base. I did not make those legs wide enough. So on the one that's inside and this one, the legs are, I just made those out of some spare firewood. But on these guys, they were on the ends. So I didn't feel like I had enough material to cut into to put those legs in. And plus I ran out of legs that were appropriately sized from the firewood. So I used these just kind of half logs that I just split. But they're just they don't have a wide enough base. And so that makes this very unstable for anyone who wants to sit on it. So the 2 that I made from the middle of the log, this one and the one that's inside, they had a lot more material to be able to put those legs into, but they also ended up having a lot more moisture. And so I was getting sap coming out of both of them. This guy, not as bad. And yeah, I think right in here, or maybe it was over there, I can't remember. Cleaned it off and it hasn't come back out for a while. But yeah, I made these by cutting the log into slabs, leveling them as best I could with a hand plane, with not a hand plane, an electric hand plane. And then I pour epoxy on them and then polyurethane over the top. So this guy, he's pretty rough. Didn't get him planed nearly as well. But also it just hasn't weathered all that great. So you can see, tried filling in most of that stuff and then hoping that the epoxy would level it out. And you can see all these spots here. That's like a filler, and all through there, because there were just lots of voids in this guy. So anyway, I'm thinking I should probably level those guys as well. So here's another of the willow segments, and that was already here. So anyway, this one's been weathered a lot. You can see it, running my finger across it. There's all sorts of ridges and the poly and epoxy. You can kind of see little bits of things that are coming apart there. So that one's in pretty sorry shape. This one is the one that I was actually thinking would need it the most, but it's actually holding up a lot better than some of the others. So not nearly as discolored as as that guy. And this one doesn't look too terrible as far as the weathering, but there are some cracks and voids and everything. I think I'd like to redo that one. But once I get them redone, resurfaced, I'm like, okay, well, how am I going to fill these voids, right? So I've got these voids that last time I just put, that kind of monochromatic filler, and I didn't think that it looked very good. And you can see some of it still, like right in here. Some of that filler that's still in there. I think I want to extract that, and then there's still filler in here, but a lot of voids here. I mean, I'd like to do epoxy again, but I'm not sure that it's going to actually stay. So the advice that I got on how to make it work so that I don't have to redo this every year was to use a penetrating oil. And so that's my plan, but I'm still not exactly sure what I'm going to do to fill those voids. So I'm open to suggestions on that. Is it going to sit on the grass? No, it's going to sit out there on the gravel. So it can still soak in water, moisture, but maybe not as much as if it were sitting on grass. Hey, Robert G. Thanks for joining us, man. Let's see, Matthew, you made 5 or 6 big Ziploc bags, filled them with ice, out of tree molds, good for a couple days. You really like iced coffee, like cold drinks. Nice. Yeah, epoxy would have been your guess. Yeah. So, I mean, maybe epoxy is still the way to go. I'm just, that's still a little bit wet. Figured that talking as long as I did out there by the fire pit, that it'd be all dry. But not quite. But it might be dry enough for another coat. But I might just, have a little patience and wait the extra, 2 minutes or whatever for it to be all the way dry. So, oh, hey, Don, thanks for joining us, man. We are having a ball here, waiting for shellac to dry for our next coat. We've got 2 coats on so far, and waiting for the third. And then after that dries, I'll hit it with some steel wool and smooth out the shellac finish so that it'll be smooth and pleasant to the touch. And then it'll be pretty much ready to deliver. So we took the other name plates, name signs around to the kids yesterday, and those who weren't home got them today. So they seem to really like them. One of the first ones we went to, Rocky, he came out and before he even saw that we had a gift for him, he came out and gave my wife a hug, gave me a hug, and then when he opened it up, he was like, "Oh wow, this is awesome!" Like, yeah, that feels good. So I was like, it was worth it. It was worth it. But so somewhat fun and rewarding to see that they actually like it. So, all right, I'm going to hit this with another coat, even though maybe it still needs to dry a little bit, but it's close enough. There we go. I'm going to say that's it for the shellac on these ones. we'll let those dry down. And yeah. Anyone else doing any fun projects lately? And okay, LJ, not an expert in outdoor sealing of wood. Yeah, I'm not. I mean, it's gonna be rustic, whatever I do. So I'm not too worried about the moisture coming up the legs. I'm more concerned about the UV and damage to the top, because that's going to be a bit more visible and prevalent. And if I need to replace legs later, in a couple of years, whatever, hey, sure, whatever. I think I probably need to do something about the legs on 2 of them anyway. When I first made them, I think I hit the bottom, and the legs with a lot of polyurethane, trying to, just have a nice protective coat. But I don't know if it really did any good. So, let's see, just a guess. Good evening. Hey, Rainy Ridge, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it. Appreciate you being here. And LJ, thanks for being here as well. Appreciate your watching and participating. Hope you have a wonderful evening and a fun week to come. Maybe Heisman spar varnish then, UV protectant. Okay. That's for over the top. Because I was thinking the penetrating oil that was recommended to me at a vendor fair locally, in my local hardwood dealer. They had a vendor fair, and I talked to several different vendors there, and the consensus seemed to be that a penetrating oil would be the best bet, and then just reapply the penetrating oil periodically, every year or so. So with the Heisman spar varnish, would that go over the top? And if so, that might. I wonder how well it would protect on the UV. We'll see. So, and then LJ, I think you were telling me last time about the lacquer that you prefer. So I've got the Watco, I think that's how it's pronounced, Watco lacquer. I think you were saying that stinks, which it does. But there was the other brand that used to be called Deft that doesn't. And what is the new name of that? The Deft brand lacquer that purportedly doesn't stink so bad. So, yeah, Prolux. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Appreciate it. I was trying to remember what it was, and it's like, I'm gonna have to go back into the chat from the live last time. Okay, so the Heisman comes in the spray and wipe on, not penetrating. Okay, so yeah, I'll have to look into whether that makes better sense than the penetrating oil option. So I think this is going to take a bit to dry. I put this on pretty heavy, so it'll probably be a little while before it's dried all the way, ready for steel wool. But got my steel wool ready whenever it's dry. All right. With that, I think that's pretty much all I wanted to show on this live today. So thanks everyone for joining me, and hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. Take care, everyone.